he can get out of his deal. And so the rumor was he's going to look for a media job, which he could find tomorrow, or another coaching job, which he could find never, and that he then may just leave UNC. And so Pablo Torre gets excited, everyone's ready, and then the statements come.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that we all knew that this was going to happen, but you were one of the only people who said this was going to happen. He's an old coach, right? He's in his 70s trying to go from the NFL to college. And it's not just about football when you're in college, or it's not just about managing a roster when you're in college. There's the NIL deals, there's scholarship deals, there's recruiting visits, there's going to see players. There's all these different rules that are involved that you don't have to worry about when you're an NFL coach. And what we've seen lately is the opposite, where whether it's Coach K at Duke in basketball, or Bruce Pearl just retired at Auburn, or we just saw Mike Gundy, who won a gajillion games for Oklahoma State in college football. He left. Nick Saban's a great one, where it's just these older coaches are leaving because they don't want to keep up with everything that's changing in this sort of wild, wild west that we've been discussing. And now you have Bill Belichick, who's coming down here, who doesn't know any of these rules, who's trying to learn it for the first time. He has the distraction of the girlfriend. He has the distraction of the Hulu project or the Hard Knocks project. It's all these things around the program. And now it comes out that one of the possibilities is that there's so many recruiting violations that have gone on at North Carolina that that's just an added problem to the added problems, where we reported, or we read the reports that there were parents coming out saying it's a toxic culture, that they're not getting any communication from the coaches, that it's just a giant, giant mess. And now we've got these two great statements that you definitely need when it's a first-year head coach and you're only 5 games into the season. I hope I did a good job of explaining everything for everybody.
Now, listen, that's exactly what's going on. So I want to get to the statements, but before I do, I want to get to the recruiting violations. So Bill Belichick, you would imagine, is someone who doesn't feel the need to abide by any rules, doesn't need to understand them. He doesn't have anyone around him who does anything other than become a sycophant. And so is it possible that he is violating the recruiting rules and that he is going to be subject to sanctions, suspensions? The program's going to get fined. And how is there any other way to look at the Bill Belichick situation than he's not going to be there long term? Then he's not going to be there for more than one season at most. The statements that came out are these one-line statements that were just so funny to me. And the first one was Bill Belichick. I swear to you, it's the whole statement. I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here. Do you remember we talked about what it is to be committed? Sometimes you need to be committed. Sometimes when you think you're committed, you're not committed because then you want to be committed to someone else. Sometimes you're committed to somebody else and you're committed to the people and program you're committed to, but then you're overcommitted, which makes you unreliable and basically underperform. So then you cut some of your commitments, thinking if you focus on the remaining commitments, that will make your level of commitment higher. And then you'll be able to say, I'm fully committed. I would imagine that Jordan read that, his girlfriend, and said, fully committed to UNC football. Forget that. You're fully committed to me. You're fully committed to what we're doing. And I would imagine that maybe other people in Bill Belichick's family are saying, fully committed to UNC. Come on, man. Don't you forget about me. Come on, this is simple. You're in my mind. Always, Dad, Gramps. But then Bill Belichick leaves it there. But North Carolina did a statement, and they released the two statements together. This one put a tear in my eye. It was so good. It just, mwah. Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics and University. That was it. One sentence. Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics and the university. Do you know that if someone calls the Department of Athletics and University and says, I will give you $30 million right now if you fire Bill Belichick, well, that'll be the end of him. Do you know that if some media company, Barstool, anybody goes up to Bill and says, we got a show for you. We got an idea. Call Jordan. I don't do any of this. Call Jordan right now. Jordan, you want to talk about a career? Forget dealing with all these kids. You already were on campus. You saw that while you're close in age, it's no fun to be on a college campus when you're not in college. It can be looked at as weird. So here's what you do. Let's get Bill back in the media. We're going to get him. Believe me, we can have money thrown his way. There's no rules, no regulations, no recruiting, no problem. All we have to do is get him back the jobs he had, and then we can get even more jobs. And so the humor of it all, the true humor of it all, is that what Pablo Torre had said, what I had said, and what these statements confirm to me is that Bill Belichick is done with North Carolina in what will be a total failure. What Coca said that I'd not focused on was the reality that they're breaking all the rules. Now, Coca, I didn't know that, and I assume the investigations will have to take a long time, and I guess they could self-impose a punishment on Bill. Maybe that would be better, just suspend him right now for 3 games. But it is a total mess. College sports is just a mess, Coca. It's just a mess.